Well, guess who's got good news and bad news? Good news, I remembered how to work the replay mod. Bad news, I didn't change my settings between recording these episodes and my podcast from my other channel, so we don't have any game audio. Which means I have to be on my best yappiness behavior. We'll see how it goes. This episode we finally got to finish up that tiny, cozy Fairycore castle. With shallow roofs like these, you're just placing a stair and then alternating them from upright and upside down. In the middle, I like to add some kind of light feature, whether that's a lantern hanging from a chain just straight from the top, or a lantern itself without the chain, or adding in a full block here so we can actually place the lantern directly in front of the window. I'll then go and fill in the sides fully with stairs in this one. I know that I'm going to use the purple gradient on the big roofs, so for the smaller roofs, I wanted to do all dark oak so it can add a bit of contrast. For the other roof shape where you're going up an extra block, instead of doing stair, upside down stair, stair, we're going to do stair, upside down stair, full planks, and then stair again. This is what's going to create that jump and give us a peaked shape instead of a symmetrical shape. I end up changing this just a bit because the chimney here does make this look a little awkward, but this shape is definitely my favorite for pretty much all of my roofs, especially if we're talking fantasy or fairycore or medieval-esque builds. I'm never going to get over the sound of the amethyst. Thankfully for the replay parts, I do have the actual audio. Once I got to this part, I was really unsure what I wanted to do next. Part of me thought have these be two completely separate buildings with two completely different end-capped roofs, but I think I'm going to go with bringing it all the way across instead. That could have been really, really bad. Taking a break from the roofs, I did go ahead and make my banners and just completed that little outdoor storage area. Everything is looking pretty good so far. I did continue the roof fully across on that top part. So now we just need to finish off the end section with the dark oak wood. I also sometimes like to do this in deep slate, just something that's really beautiful and dark. I don't know why I never bothered making scaffolding in any of my other builds before. This makes this so much easier. I will say one of the worst part about building this part of a really big build is forgetting materials, so you have to keep going like up and down. These make this so much more convenient. For the side strip here, you want to kind of disguise where the roof material touches the walls. Usually I'll just do stairs straight across, but sometimes when I want a little more pizzazz, I will alternate the direction of the stairs. This is going to get a little bit complicated right here because we do need to put another roof on top of this tower. Am I procrastinating it? Yes. For some reason, towers are just something that never really fully clicked in my brain, and every time I have to do them, I feel like I'm going to make it look really odd. Unlike the front section where I just went with the stairs all the way across, this time I decided to go ahead and use amethyst because it's beautiful and I really, really love it. And to disguise where it's connecting with the patio section, I'm just going to continue the parapets. Now I did this wall incorrectly when I first planned this out, but it doesn't really matter. I could just bring it back one anyways. I'm planning this roof out entirely in wool, so I don't have to think about the different alternating blocks that I'm going to use in the end. I can just focus on shape. And if there's anything I can communicate or advise when it comes to building, it's to do it exactly that way. Break it down into pieces, especially if you're planning something really, really big. Shape is usually more important when it comes to communicating what it is that you're trying to build and making it look nice to other people, if that's what you care about. And then once you've nailed the shape, you can come in and refine your block palette. You are going to be a little bit more limited when it comes to survival, unless you're someone that just tackles the end and does things like that with no problem. I'm not. So I tend to stick with some pretty basic resources. For towers, I like to encapsulate the corners, then build up 2 layers, then do kind of a cross up 2 layers, and then 2 just for the top part. Sometimes I'll also put one over the middle here. To outline the edges, I'm pretty much following the same pattern as any other roof that just kind of goes up by 1 block. So a stair, an upside down stair, another stair, and then something in the center. And this is what the back ended up looking like. I do need to fix the corners on some of these. It can be kind of hard to place the upside down stairs depending on how you're going about it. But I think it looks really, really nice. And once we got that done, it was time to think about the windows. Obviously, I had to go with purple stained glass. but I didn't want to use all purple stained glass. And for some of these, I kind of want you to be able to walk up and out and look over almost like it's a patio. So we'll figure out what we want to do with that a little bit later. To finish off that entryway, I went with campfires. This is probably one of my favorite build hacks, tips, ideas. I didn't come up with it, but when I saw it the first time, I was in love. They look so beautiful, and they add just this nice rustic touch, especially to an area that you want to feel enclosed, but not entirely outside. I really don't like them going in and out of my base. I always feel like I'm going to accidentally smack one of the villagers while I'm trying to build here, so that's definitely been a little stressful. Once I finished with the structure of these things, I just went through and added in leaves pretty much anywhere that I felt were either awkward corners, odd little places that needed to be covered, or things that could be blended together better. I did take a little bit of a detour to a desert so I could find some cactus and make green dye so I could make cyan window panes. I then went and found a swamp to get some blue orchids, once again to make window panes. This time we're doing light blue. In Mizuno's, the light blue has a very similar texture to the purple, but instead of being purple, it's just clear. And the cyan stained glass has a really beautiful, slight edge decoration, but mostly empty. And that was pretty much as far as I got in this episode. I did want to do a lot more, but I'm really glad I didn't, so next time I can make sure my audio is on. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.